These are my streets, my buildings, blood and bones. From up here I watch you scattered, confused, searching for meaning under my concrete skin. You will have to do better or continue throwing yourself against my walls. You support me by not knowing.
Chaos takes care of people who embrace it.
Urban living is all about, as far as I can tell. The city thrives on chaos, organized chaos of the sort. When everything that's crazy gets put together, it all looks so sane. It's unbelievable, and that's what the race was about.
I'd heard about the championships about 2 years ago, but never actually got up to them. So it was, yeah, it was a real opportunity for me to get up here.
People came to race and people came to party, and they didn't know what to expect, and neither did we. If you go with the flow, it can be your friend, and if you don't, it can eat you alive, you know?
Well, we touched down, rode in from the airport along the freeway, not a good idea, and rode into the Standby Cafe, the local courier hangout, and it was just like, oh God, yeah, I'm home.
What we got here are beer-soaked, now beer-soaked, lexicons. This is the details of language that Toronto bike couriers use, and it's a trade-specific term. It's my theory that we could carry on a whole conversation on an elevator without somebody on a suit knowing a single word what was being said.
It was like a maelstrom of color and noise and bicycles and activity and people doing stunts.
$5 worth of the championship model. Championship model. Yeah. Is that what this is? Well, the Cycle Express Messenger World Championship. Yeah. Got to bring these back to San Francisco.
Probably a good sort of 1,000 people there. It looked like a, I don't know, outdoor rave party thing happening. Just incredible. I just, didn't want to leave.
In London doesn't have as many couriers, but there's no place like this where everyone hangs out at the same place. I mean, there's like little places where people hang out. But this just seems like really centralised. It seems like all couriers come here.
We all come together at a place called the Standby because that's where we've been coming together for like as long as I've been a courier, which is like 9 years.
It's amazing when you're just standing around, you know, you can shoot the shit and talk to people.
This is where everybody comes and tells their battle stories, you know? It's like what's happened to them in the day, who they've met, who they've been cut off by. And, you know, it's a place to have a pint after work.
They really look out for you. They help you out and looking out for each other, and it's amazing. I've never really felt this kind of community anywhere else in any other work field before.
We need something like that in London, where the couriers just come and hang out.
The Standby Cafe, you know, it being like a little nowhere right in the middle of everywhere downtown. And, you know, good food, cheap beer.
I think the courier's place in society as a stereotype is like down at the bottom.
Boundaries. It's all about boundaries and saying there aren't any. My streets never slow down. My city has no limits. Me and my bike don't see the difference between road and sidewalk, stairway and sky. My life isn't your life. You're in your car, in your office, in debt to someone or something. I'm outside riding, out of the pushing and outside of your rules. My life doesn't stop for red lights.
I think there's a stigma attached to the courier's lifestyle. It's partying, rock and roll, and drugs. And, well, I mean, I guess people don't make this shit up. It happens.
Rebels who would rather who don't want to conform to the laws of society and that, you know, and they just want to go out there and do whatever they want to do. They smoke, they drink, they smoke dope, you know. I think it's more adventure than romantic, you know, like, I think it's definitely more adventure. It keeps your senses tuned and, you know, keeps you living right on the edge, keeps your heart pumping, and you really, you know, get a sense of being alive.
It's interesting being here because you can see a mutual respect between all the couriers, and there's something that everyone here knows, that all the other couriers have something inside of them which makes them a courier. We're all kind of different kinds of people, but when it comes down to it, there's something inside of each one of us which is, you know, it's an appeal to the job, and therefore you get the respect. You know, you don't feel like, we were saying this morning, we didn't feel we had anything to prove here to anyone, you know, because we were with people who were really on the same level as us.
It's a different lifestyle. A lot of people, they're working in the noose, they wear their ties all the time, and they conform. A lot of the couriers, basically, they're not doing that. They like the freedom.
A lot of the times you're looked down on like courier scum.
Are you ready to be treated like a leper?
You're treated like a bit of an idiot, some sort of inbred or something like that.
You deal with people like that in elevators, you know. They'll look down at you, they're wearing their fucking really swank suits, and you smell like bad.
You know, you do sometimes get a feeling of, oh, courier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but so you learn, I suppose. You know what, you appreciate the crap people have to go through from day-to-day life.
There's nowhere to go once the doors close. You're trapped in this elevator with a bunch of weirdos that are looking you up and down.
You know, and they're all prissy and smelling like Pierre Cardin shite.
I think that's so rude when people just stare at you. I mean, my mom taught me not to stare at people.
And you're holding back, laughing, and all of a sudden you drank like 24 beers the night before, right? And you just gotta say, I'm on ground floor. I know this is a beauty, and you just fucking blast the wickedest fart that you ever had. And all of a sudden, they're going to 15, 20, no worries. 2, press 2, get out while you can. I'm out, they're in, you know, and you know what's happening. They're choking, and they're realizing how I hate couriers.
A lot of people won't give you the respect because of what you're doing. I mean, in a sense, they're jealous on the aspect of freedom. Freedom is basically, if you're happy what you're doing, that's freedom. It doesn't necessarily mean you're out in the middle of nowhere with no one around you.
Oh, freedom from having to do what the system wants you doing.
Freedom from something doesn't really sound like freedom to me. I think that's escapism or whatever, I don't know, but freedom is just doing what you want to do.
Traffic in the city is very congested, and to me, I mean, that's an advantage in some ways because it means I can get across town faster than someone in a car.
If you're a car driver, then, you know, we're a menace. I break the law in traffic a lot. Like the written by the book doesn't apply in traffic all the time.
When I run red lights and stop signs, I do it in a fashion so that I'm not impeding other traffic and I'm not endangering anyone but myself.
But it's just good going down a little gap that you don't think you can quite make, and you get through it and you think, yeah.
When you're moving at 25 miles an hour and a pedestrian walks out in front of you, the last thing you want to do is kill him. So you go over the car. You know, you do whatever it takes, essentially, to not kill the guy.
You know, they can be the captain of industry, they can be some corporate giant heavyweight, but they can't seem to cross a street normally, like, you know, like, safely. It's all a millisecond. Suddenly you just hear a click, and that's the door opening. You know that, and you've got the option of A, slamming into the door, B, going to the left and slamming the car next to you, or C, braking really quickly.
There's a thrill involved in dodging cars and buses. I've heard it said life begins at 40 miles an hour, and it's pretty easy to believe.